Ladies and gentlemen, it is League Cup time. That's right, the traditional cup game after the first league game of the season. It happens as the Carabao Cup gets underway in midweek, and it's spread over 2 days. I'm going to take you through both days, my scores for each day and each game, and tell you what I think the score is going to be. I don't believe there's extra time, so if it does each 90 minutes, then there will be penalties. So what we'll do, we'll just crack on with this right now. We'll crack on, and I will let you know what I think my predictions are for this upcoming first round of the League Cup. So here we go. We start with Huddersfield up against Middlesbrough. It's the first League Cup game on the 8th of August. And Huddersfield and Middlesbrough had disappointing results to start. Starts at 7 o'clock, so there are some time changes here. I'm going to go for Middlesbrough to beat Huddersfield. I just think Middlesbrough's squad just has a little bit more, but obviously Neil Warnock will want to believe that they can do it. I'm actually going to go for Middlesbrough to win by 3-1 against Huddersfield Town. Next, Mansfield Town against Grimsby Town. Tough game, this tight game. It kicks off at 7:30. I'm going to basically say for this, going to be biased? Yes, I am, but I honestly think this could happen. I'm going to go for Mansfield Town 1, Grimsby Town 2, because I think you've got to have belief in your own team, really, and that's what I've got. Second up is Accrington Stanley against Bradford City. Bradford coming off a defeat on the opening day to Crawley. Accrington with a comfortable 3-0 win on the opening day. I'm going to get... Oh, dear. I'm going to say this could be the first penalty shootout. I'm going to go Accrington 1, Bradford City 1. And who wins the shootout? I fancy Bradford. Just to do it, but we'll see. I'm saying 1-1 and penalty shootout win for Bradford City. Next on Tuesday will be Barnsley up against Tranmere Rovers. League 1 against League 2. Tranmere, it's too early to tell. You've got to say Barnsley for being at home, mainly. I'm going to say Barnsley, and I'm going to say Barnsley will win the game by 4-1. Apologies, Tranmere fans, but I honestly believe that could happen. Barnsley are a good side in League One, and I think they will challenge at the top end of League One. I don't see them really having many issues getting past Tranmere. Next, Blackburn Rovers up against Walsall. Blackburn are having some real issues at the moment off the pitch, which could let Walsall in. Walsall with a disappointing 2-1 defeat on the opening day at Morecambe. In League 2, Blackburn, if I was to weigh this one up, I'm gonna give it to Blackburn. I'm gonna say 2-0 to Blackburn over Walsall. I just think Blackburn will have too much. I know there'll be a lot of changes for the Championship sides, I'm sure, but I fancy him just to do enough to get past the West Midlands outfit. Next, Bolton Wanderers, who had a fantastic opening day against Barrow, who themselves on a fantastic opening day in League 2. This is a game where Bolton have to be switched on. I'm going to say Bolton just for home advantage, really. I'm going to say Bolton 3, Barrow 0, but it is no slight on Barrow at all. Would I be surprised if they caused an upset? Not at all. Next we have Derby County up against Blackpool. Derby coming off a defeat on the opening day, and Blackpool winning on the opening day. In fact, Derby are going to want to try and bounce back as soon as they possibly can. But I'm going to give it to the Tangerines. But I do think it'll be a 2-2 draw between Derby and Blackpool will get them on penalties, I believe. Next we have Harrogate Town up against Carlisle. Now Harrogate, winning on the opening day against Doncaster. Carlisle doing their thing as well in League One. A difficult game, this. Really, really difficult game. I'm going to go, though, for a Carlisle United win. I'm going to say Harrogate Town 1, Carlisle United 3. Next, we have a derby of sorts, as Hull City, the Championship, host League 2 Doncaster Rovers. And that pits the former manager, Grant McCann, against his former club. As much as Doncaster are hoping to improve, I don't see that happening against Hull. I think Hull will win this. I'm going to say 2-0 to Hull City, in the hope that, I say in the hope, but in the thought that I think Hull, that they'll want to bounce back, and I think they will. I think Doncaster are getting, are trying to find themselves on the Grant, so we'll see how they do. But Hull City for me. Next is a derby as well of some sort, as Notts County host Lincoln City. Now Notts County are coming off a 5-1 drubbing of Sutton, against Sutton, of a 5-1 drubbing, caused by Sutton against the Imps. Now, do I put my Grimsby head on here, or do I? I'm gonna give this to Notts County. I think not easily. I'm gonna give it to Notts County 3-2. I think this could be a very high scoring game if it all goes to plan. But Notts County 3, Lincoln City 2. What I saw of Lincoln in pre-season, I wasn't that impressed. Notts County, I think they're gonna want to put a marker down. After losing as badly as they did at Sutton. So I'm saying 3-2 to Notts County to get the win there. But we'll see. Port Vale up against Fleetwood. Port Vale, well, they had an absolute collapse, didn't they? An absolute collapse. Fleetwood, I fancy that. I really fancy Fleetwood to get the win here. It's one of these kind of games that, surely Port Vale can't defend as badly as they did on Saturday. But I'm going to go Fleetwood to win 2-1 against Port Vale. But obviously Port Vale need to improve vastly. Next we've got Preston up against Salford. Preston North End, they need to get those goals flowing. They need to get them going. I do fancy him to do it over Salford, but not easily. I'm basically saying it's going to be Preston North End 1, Salford City 0. And they somehow find their way into the next round. Next we've got Rotherham United up against Morecambe. Morecambe with now a win over Walsall, but got it. Rotherham, I think they may struggle this year in the Championship. But I'm going to go Morecambe to do it. I'm going to say 2-2, and I'm going to say that'll be penalties as well. Why not? I think that could be an upset, that. So could this. Sheffield Wednesday hosting Stockport. Stockport with a defeat on the opening day, which probably shell-shocked them a little bit. And Sheffield Wednesday as well, losing on the opening day to Southampton. So they've both got a point to prove, both teams. They're both going to want to lay a marker down. This is a game that could easily go to the away side, and I'm going to go for the away side. I'm going to go. This is very, very difficult. I'm going to go. I'm going to go 3-2. But it's games where teams can let themselves go. So I'm saying Stockport to win 3-2 against Sheffield Wednesday and cause another surprise in this section of the first round draw. Next, Stoke up against West Brom. West Brom are going through a lot of issues and financial issues at the moment. And Stoke City, I think they're starting to find their feet. I do fancy Stoke to get past West Brom. Again, not easy by any means. I'm going to basically go for a 2-0 win against West Brom. Sunderland host Crewe. Sunderland, I just think they'll have enough. A 3-0 win for Sunderland against Crewe. Again, no disparity against Crewe. But I'm saying 3-0 there. And finally, in the northern section on Tuesday night, Wrexham host Wigan. Wrexham are going to want to put on a better all-round performance. They lost 5-3 on the opening day to the MK Dons. Wrexham are, I'm not going to say they've come down to earth with a bang, but they've come down to earth with a bang. So there you go. I fancy him to narrowly beat Wigan though. 2-1. I think they'll just nick that. But Wigan are boosted by the win they had, so who knows. But I'm saying Wrexham because they are strong at home, but they need to, they need to put a marker down. In the first round southern section, on Tuesday, we've got Newport up against Charlton. It's a 7:30 kickoff. I'm sorry, like I said, I'm not that impressed with Newport as it is. I do fancy Charlton to maybe get quite a comfortable win here. I'm saying 2-0 to Charlton. Sorry, Newport fans. I think there might be something underlying at Newport at the moment. Things don't seem all happy there. And I'm going to go for Charlton to get a comfortable 2-0 win. Peterborough United against Swindon next. Again, this could be an interesting game. Peterborough, though, I think will just have enough to get past Swindon. I'm saying 3-1 to Peterborough. So 3-1 to me, for me, I should say. Swansea up against Northampton. This could be the first upset in the southern section for me. And I'm going to basically go for a 2-1 win for Northampton over Swansea. Why not? Cheltenham Town host Birmingham City next. Birmingham obviously having the takeover and Tom Brady now being involved with them. You've got to fancy him because they're on a high at the moment, Birmingham. And I do think they will get past Cheltenham fairly good. 4-0, I'm saying, over Cheltenham. Please don't come at me, Cheltenham fans. I mean, no disrespect. Next, Exeter City up against Crawley. Crawley with a great win over Bradford on the opening day in League 2. That seemed to have come out of absolutely nowhere. So I'm basically going to say Exeter will win this one, but I don't think it'll be as straightforward. In fact, I think it could go to penalties. I think Exeter will do it, but I'm saying 1-1 after 90 minutes, and Exeter to squeak it, maybe something like 5-4 on penalties, something like that. Forest Green up against Portsmouth. Forest Green looked a bit toothless at the weekend with their defeat. Portsmouth are Portsmouth in regards, and I mean that respectfully. I can't see them not getting past Forest Green. So much so I'm going to go for a 3-0 win for Pompey over the I'm trying to think of that term. newly relegated Forest Green Rovers. There we go. Next we have Gillingham up against Southampton. I'm sure Southampton may rest a few of their first team players. And Gillingham might fancy themselves here. I'm going to go actually for Gillingham to cause an upset. I'm going to basically say 2-0 to Gillingham. We'll have to see how Russell Martin's Saints get on there. Next, Millwall up against Reading. Again, it's one of those games that it's kind of so hard to tell. I am going to go for Millwall though, fairly comfortably. I'll say 2-0 over Reading, and I said wedding. 2-0 over Reading. A quite straightforward path through to the second round for me, for Millwall. Next, the MK Dons, hoping to continue their fine goal scoring form against the Wycombe Wanderers side. Disappointing to lose on the opening day in League One. And at home, I think the MK Dons will fancy it, but I don't see it being easy. I'm gonna say again. I'm gonna say penalties. I'm gonna say 1-1. No, I'm not. I'm gonna say 2-2. 2-2. I'm gonna say 2-2, and I think Wycombe may just sneak this again on penalties. Plymouth Argyle against Leyton Orient. If Plymouth play the way they did on Saturday against Huddersfield, Leyton Orient have got to watch themselves. I fancy Plymouth to win this by 3-1. Stevenage up against Watford. Elton John, I'm sure, will be watching from somewhere. Again, this is one that could go either way. I'm going to give it to Watford, 3-1 as well. I think Watford will just have enough, just have too much for Stevenage, but good luck to them. And the final game on the Tuesday night in the Southern section will be Sutton United up against Cambridge United. Sutton coming off that fantastic 5-1 win over Nats County. Cambridge won on the opening day as well. This is difficult. Are Sutton going to be able to re-deliver maybe not the exact performance but a similar one? I don't think so. I'm actually going to go for Cambridge to win this game 2-0 against Sutton. They are Tuesday's games on the North and Southern section. Now, quickly, we'll move on to Wednesday night's games. There's 2 in the North and 4 in the South. So we'll go through these pretty quickly. Leeds United up against Shrewsbury Town. Leeds were able to scrap back to a draw. Shrewsbury were able to win on the opening day. I am going to say, being at home, I think Leeds will want to show what they're capable of. I fancy them to get past Shrewsbury. Again, not straightforward, but I do think it'll be comfortable in the end for Leeds. I'm saying Leeds 3, Shrewsbury 1. The final game in the North will be Burton Albion hosting Leicester City. Leicester getting a late win over Coventry. Burton Albion, I've got to fancy Leicester for this. Again, this is no knock on Burton Albion. I'm going to say 3-0 to Leicester. I just feel it. I just fancy it. In the South, 4 games on that night. AFC Wimbledon will host Coventry. Wimbledon coming off a 0-0 draw with Grimsby Town. Coventry coming off a late defeat to Leicester City. I can't see Coventry not beating Wimbledon. I think it'll be a 2-0 win for Coventry City. To hopefully kick-start their season. They'll feel like that. Bristol City up against Oxford. Again, difficult game this, but I'm gonna say Bristol City will win this by 3-0 against Oxford United. The second to last game will be Colchester United against Cardiff. Cardiff was so close to a win over Leeds, but let it go in the last 10 minutes. Cardiff City, I think, won't do the same against Colchester. I think it'll be a 1-0 win though. I don't think they'll annihilate Colchester. I'm going Cardiff 1, Colchester United 0. And finally, Ipswich Town host Bristol Rovers. Ipswich with a fantastic win over Sunderland at the weekend, and I just fancy Ipswich to do it again against Bristol Rovers. I'm going to say 3-0 for Ipswich Town against Bristol Rovers, and that, my friends, are my predictions on both midweek set of games in the Carabao Cup. Let me know what you think down below. Please like, please share, please subscribe, and I'll see everybody again for another video, another football related video very, very soon. I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.